Who does a lot of green projects here in Amsterdam. And he's also developed an app which can help everybody who's interested in edible plants in the city. Yes? Edible wild plants. Please give him a warm applause. Theun Karelse.
I'll be short because I don't actually know that much about plants or Amsterdam. I've been living here for 10 years, but my name is Theun. I'm with a group called FoAM. It's not a photo museum. It's a group that's not centered, but there's people in Amsterdam, there's people in Brussels, there's people in Stockholm, there's people in Japan. We're a group who we're a cultural laboratory. So we focus on anything from software to gardens to food to robots to all of these sort of things. We're interested in where these sort of things that normally don't really match, where they could sort of have an edge, where they can work together. And Boskoi is the name of one of those projects, which I started. It started out when Google came up with their idea to have Google Maps. I think that was 2007. And I thought, interesting, a map, and you can add things. And in the city, I know some places where I like to get hazelnuts or where I get some herbs. I'll try and make a map of wild food that you can find, and I'll post it online, and it will be a Google Map, and I'll invite people to add things. So that was maybe 2008, and it got 15,000 people visited it each year, but nobody was adding something. So I guess the interface wasn't really ideal. So around 2010, the whole app world started to become a reality, with people having smartphones. So I thought, maybe if we translate the map into an app, people, you're also in the field. Google Maps was on your desktop, and you're not out in the park. But with this mobile phone, if you see an apple tree and you're there, you just point on the map and it pops up. You fill in apple tree, it sends it off, and you have another thing on the map. So that's basically what we made. For all kinds of different species, there are different colors, herbs or nuts or things like that. I described already how it works. You have a map, you have a list where all the edibles are listed, so you can search just on apples. You can see where are apples in my area. You can go here and add something, or you can just point and it will add something. And these are more like if you want to see the blog. So this became one of the first apps to work with nature. It was 2010, and it got picked up quite already before it was finished. So it was in all these sort of tech blogs. And the interesting thing is, for me, is to bring together the knowledge that is really like Stone Age knowledge of having plants, recognizing them, what can you do with them, and combining that with technology that can sort of bring that to people. So you go to the Google Play and you download it onto your phone. We just had a budget for one, what you call it? We only made it for Android. We didn't have money to also make it for iPhone. I know.
It's an apple.
I showed. So eventually you end up with a map, and you can sort of see it's not this map, but we also have a map, and Amsterdam has quite a lot of things on it now. And after a few years, actually the green areas are starting to show up because people have added things there. So you can see one of the big corridors, I think in Amsterdam West, is the dike, the talud, where the metro and the trains are going. All of that is hundreds of meters of wild plants, and there's medlar, and there's all kinds of herbs. There's Braam, and East I'm not so sure, but Lynn knows East very well, so ask her about that part. I showed her also this map. I sent it to Lynn because I'm interested in what the city council thinks, what their plans are and where things are, and there are gaps in it, and I'm interested in finding out where we collectively could, take our own initiatives. And these are eco corridors. They're not all existing corridors. So there are few. One of these things could be maybe a line of trees, so squirrels can get from one park to another park. Or maybe this is another row of trees, but it's so the vleermuizen. Bats can hunt better, or it can be a gap between two bodies of water, so that water creatures can get through. And a lot of them have been finished or are being implemented, but a lot of them also are not. So I'm interested in what we could also do ourselves. As just, we cannot make a concrete eco duct, but maybe we can do things. And I think this river of herbs is one of the connections we can make. I don't know a lot about plants, but we took up a garden a few years back, and it looked like this. It belonged to a church, and they only just, schoffelen. They just took everything away. So it was like a biblical desert, I guess. And then with neighbors, we try and make it to a herb garden, because a lot of it is sand, and herbs like sand, so it seemed an obvious thing to do. And I've heard from my friend Cloud, I'm not sure if she's here. Hey Cloud! Hey! Cloud told me that actually the biodiversity of plants is higher inside the city than outside. Isn't that right? Cloud does countings for Floral, where they take a square kilometer and you count the amount of wild plants that are there.
Over 300 in the city.
And what would it be in a rural area?
Near Almere, for instance, about 70.
So it's much higher here. So actually this type of soil, this poor soil, is a rare commodity in Holland. And I think the herbs of our river would fit in that quite well. Thank you.